Watcher. I'm just going to do a short video at the moment to explain what a bunch of liars the mainstream media are. See, I am pro-Palestinian and I also support the protests outside hotels where illegal migrants are being stayed, put in, and where the illegal migrants are committing crime in those areas. After coming here with no documentation, we have no idea who they are. Uh, the extreme left insist that they're fleeing persecution and they're doctors and nurses and that, but we know that's nonsense. And the extreme left, I don't know. If a bunch of complete strangers, they didn't know who the hell they were, knocked on their door and said, hello, we'd like to come into your house, maybe they are crazy enough to just let them in, but who knows? But the media are lying about the hotel protesters, claiming that they're far right and racist. This tends to come from the Bolshevik broadcasting commune and the like. I would actually like to state that the people at the protests are not racist. In fact, they hate Nazis the same as any decent person would hate Nazis. Then we have GB News, which is the right-wing version of the Bolshevik broadcasting commune, high on stating its opinion but very low on news, the same as the BBC, who are insisting that those on pro-Palestinian rallies are all anti-British and hate this country and are Marxists and blah, blah, blah. That isn't true either. I mean, the majority of left-wing people at pro-Palestinian events, I mean, they are not Marxists and they are not anti-British. But the GB News, being a fake news channel, the same as the BBC, except for the right rather than the left, is lying about them. And you see, and then you get the BBC, which is the left-wing version of GB News, lying about the hotel protesters, insisting that they're all far-right Nazis, and which is, isn't true either. Now, a lot of people at the hotel protests know that the media is lying about them, but somehow believe the media is telling the truth about the pro-Palestinian protesters. The pro-Palestinian protesters know that the media is lying about them, but somehow believes that the media is telling the truth about the hotel protesters. They're lying about both groups of protesters. Now, yesterday, the failed state of Israel assassinated another 4 journalists. We were waiting, and I mean, one of them was from Reuters, and we were waiting to see if they were going to accuse the Reuters journalist of being a member of Hamas, and then we were, or whether they were going to say they hit a hospital by accident. Now, where are we? I'll flick through my notes on this. Now, they're now saying it was an accident, So we're supposed to believe they accidentally hit a hospital twice. Now, people jump to it, claiming Hamas command centre under the hospital, and they're all well, Reuters are left wing and they lie and blah blah, this kind of stuff. Well, yes, we know all media lie, but let's not worry about that, as I've demonstrated. They came out with the Hamas line. They come out with all this and claiming all journalists in Gaza are controlled by Hamas. Now, the thing is, until Israel allows Western journalists in there, we will have to presume that they are they are trying to hide something. We know what they're trying to hide. It's their atrocities, their genocide, their war crimes. We know that's what it is. Anyone with a brain can work this one out. They're not allowing Western journalists in and killing journalists who are Palestinian because they don't want the truth of their atrocities coming out. There's all this stuff about Hamas and hospital, and Israel's defenders came out with a lot of stuff before Israel came out with it was an accident. It just so happens that we have the footage of the whole thing. First of all, they sent a drone over. Could see there were a journalist tent and journalists there. Drone clears off. Next minute, bang, it got hit where the journalists were. Other journalists from around the city rushed off to help out their colleagues, and then they hit it again. This was a targeted attack. It was an assassination. Now, Israel are now claiming it was an accident. So first we got the drone footage, and then they hit the place twice by accident. Also, yesterday, the rogue state started bombing the Al Zaytun neighborhood in Gaza. This is where the Gazan Christians live. It's becoming apparent that they have a particular loathing for Palestinian Christians. 50% of them are Greek Orthodox, and they're being persecuted by the failed state of Israel, and Israelis think they can go to Greece and have a nice holiday. They now go unable to disembark from cruise ships and are refused service in restaurants. Well, a lot of Palestinian Christians have fled to Greece, so the Greeks are well aware of what's going on. Save, O Lord, your people, and bless your inheritance. Grant victory to the faithful Christians, especially in Ukraine, Syria, and Palestine, over their adversaries, and protect your people through your cross. Amen. Salam, Shalom, Pax Christi, Irene Ta Christo.